जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. That garland to turn करता पड़ा. Sitting. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी. यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन. यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन. यमुनातिरावनचारी. यमुनातिरावनचारी. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी. यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन. यमुनातिरावनचारी. यमुनातिरावनचारी. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 25. Nama Kamala Nabhaya Nama Kamala Maline Nama Kamala Padaya Namaste Kamalekshana. Nama Kamala Nabhaya Nama Kamala Maline Nama Kamala Padaya Namaste Kamalekshana. Nama Kamala Nabhaya Nama Kamala Maline Namah Kamalapadaya Namaste Kamalekshana. Ladies, please. Sorry, you want to say? Gokulananda, please recite. Now, ladies, please. Namaha. We offer our respectful obeisances. Kamalanabhaya, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the original lotus flower originated. Namaha. Obeisances. Kamalamaline, one who is always decorated with a garland of lotus flowers or carnations. That's not that. Namaha. Obeisances. Kamalapadaya, whose feet are as beautiful and fragrant as the lotus flower. Namahate. Obeisances unto you. Kamala Ikshana, whose eyes are exactly like the petals of the lotus flower. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dear Lord, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, because from your abdomen sprouts the lotus flower, the origin of all living entities. You are always decorated with a lotus garland, and your feet resemble the lotus flower with all its fragrance. Your eyes are also like the petals of a lotus flower. Therefore, we always offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. The word Kamalanabhaya indicates that Lord Vishnu is the origin of the material creation. From the abdomen of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, a lotus flower sprouts. Lord Brahma, the first creature of the universe, is born from this lotus flower, and subsequently Lord Brahma creates the whole universe. The origin of all creation is therefore Lord Vishnu, and the origin of all the Vishnu Tattvas is Krishna. Consequently, Krishna is the origin of everything. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhavasamanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Lord Krishna says, I am the origin of everything. Therefore, whatever we see emanates from him. This is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yataha. The absolute truth is he from whom everything emanates. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Giving class on Monday morning is one of the most challenging things in the Hare Krishna movement because it's mostly the Sunday feast after effects. And also, I was not scheduled to give class. Tranakarta Prabhu was. But apparently someone gave him the wrong verse from a completely different chapter. So he's very well prepared for a different class altogether. And that's our mistake. So our apologies to Prabhu. Sorry about that. So then the next person who's scheduled is Jai Jagannath Prabhu. And he's under the weather, I guess. So he's not able to either. So I came to know about a few minutes ago. So please forgive my bad humor if it just comes out. That's just a way to fill up time. We'll try to make something meaningful out of this. In the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami tells us, Prabhupada writes, that Krishna's body is compared to lotus. There are 8 parts of his body that are compared to the lotus flower. Krishna's 2 eyes, Krishna's 2 hands, 2 lotus feet, that's 6. Krishna's navel and Krishna's face. We have a 9th one, which is Kamala Maline, wearing a garland of lotus flowers. Now these don't mean that they are shaped like lotuses or lotus flowers. They have different connotations. The eyes are shaped like lotus petals. The lotus petals have beautiful shape. Generally in Vedic poetry, beautifully shaped eyes are compared to lotus petals or fish, because fish have very perfectly streamlined forms, and so are lotus petals. His hands and feet, hands are compared to lotuses because they are extremely delicate. And his feet are compared to the lotus as well because they're not only delicate, but they're also extremely attractive. In fact, they are the highest aspiration of the most exalted devotees to attain Krishna's lotus feet. And just as there is saffron in the lotus feet, the dust from Krishna's lotus feet can cure all material distress. There is another significance of lotus flower. Apparently, we don't know this for sure, meaning it's not scientifically, empirically proven. But the honey or nectar from a lotus flower can cure blindness. So we sing the song, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhumo Savadhana Mate. That the lotus feet of the spiritual master, when one has attained that, or when one is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the spiritual master, it removes the blindness of ignorance. So the lotus feet are extremely powerful. So this is poetic, not that literally you take the lotus feet and not like that. The service at the lotus feet of the spiritual master removes all ignorance. Prema bhakti jahan hoite avidya vinasha jate. Vinasha means destruction. Prema bhakti means ecstatic love of Godhead. It also means serving Guru lovingly. Prema bhakti, lovingly and selflessly. The definition of love is that it should be selfless, because anything that is selfish is not love. Selfish means considering my happiness when I'm trying to serve Guru. That means I will follow what I like and I will not follow what I don't like. This is not service. This is called sense gratification. It is using Guru as the medium of happiness. Guru gives wonderful instruction. Oh, do this service. I like that service, and so Guru is the epitome of mercy. He is the ocean of mercy. And the Guru gives us some service that we don't like. He says he's so hard-hearted. Guru does not understand my inner situation. It's not the Guru's problem. It's the Bhakta's issue. So prema bhakti jahan hoite means wherever there is selfless service. And not just selfless, but selfless with loving sentiments. Avidya vinasha jate. Ignorance is completely destroyed. That ignorance that keeps us away from Krishna is destroyed. And when there is full knowledge of our constitutional position, we become very close to Krishna. Actually, we become very dear to Krishna. The way to become dearer to Krishna is to become technically Vishnu Jana. In Bhagavatam there is a phrase, Vishnu Jana Priyaha, that Krishna is very close to, very dear to those who are Vishnu Janas, meaning that those who are very dear to the Vaishnavas. So this ignorance that keeps us away from Krishna, first layer of it is, I may accept Krishna, but I may not accept the devotees. So the real ignorance, or the complete destruction of ignorance, is when we become sheltered at the lotus feet of the devotees. Then we become really dear to Krishna. So in this verse, Prabhupada talks about the meaning of Kamala Nabhaya. Krishna's navel is compared to a lotus, Kamala Nabhaya. It also means that from his navel sprouts the lotus, the original lotus, from where the entire universe manifests. The entire universe is residing on or resting on this transcendental lotus that Garbhadakshayi Vishnu manifests within this universe. Because he is the original person from whom everything emanates. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate. So Lord Brahma, who is the first, Prabhupada says, first creature of the universe, he is not born in a seminal manner, that there is a father and mother and they got together and they made babies. He is born directly from the lotus. He's called Hiranyagarbha. Born from the lotus that sprouts from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel. In fact, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu provides all the raw materials and the intelligence to Lord Brahma to put together the whole universe. And it's described in that first when he was born in that lotus, the lotus was so vast and the stem was so long that he could not fathom the dimensions of the lotus. So he tried to come down the stalk or the stem of the lotus and was bewildered. So he only heard the transcendental sound, tapa, tapa, by which he understood his position within the lotus, he understood his service, he understood what he had to do, and he created this fantastic universe. And it's described that within this stem of the lotus reside all the planetary systems, all 14 of them, although it is in the universal egg. So, understanding these things are important because Krishna says, Buddha, one who understands this properly, bhava samanvita. He engages in devotional service with his full heart. There are many persons who render service with the heart absent. When the heart is absent, service gets done, but affection doesn't come about. It doesn't grow. Or the access to Krishna's loving aspect is not available. So it's not just that one should render some service unknowingly. That is also very good. That unknowing service brings about what is called agyata sukruti. Agyata sukruti means benefit or piety that has come about unknowingly. That brings us to the point of association with the devotees. But from there on, we cannot bank on agyata sukruti for the rest of our devotional life. Oh, I unknowingly did some seva for Krishna. I was lying down on my back, and in my sleep I turned on my stomach, and I offered obeisances. Well, that was the time when the conch was blowing, and so that's a little credit that I got. That will not take us back to Vaikuntha. It will keep us in the association of devotees. The real impetus is gyata sukruti, knowingly, feelingly, willingly, lovingly offered service to Krishna. And for that we need knowledge. We need knowledge about who we are. We need knowledge about who our master is. Shri Kishore, masters are Shri Kishore Kishori. And Krishna is the source of everything. If this knowledge is not clear, this sambandha gyan is not clear, abhideya will not be clear. And if sambandha is not clear, prayojana is not clear, what's the fruit of my bhakti? What is it that I'm aspiring for will not be clear. So the foundation of devotional service is proper sambandha gyan. Have we noticed every lecture of Prabhupada hammers down sambandha gyan like you will not forget it? Constantly, Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Today's morning lecture, whole time, Supreme Controller, Supreme Ishvara. Why? So that it's clear. It is clear that He is the origin of everything. Whatever we are utilizing is coming from Him. Whatever is manifest, unmanifest is still coming from Him. And one who understands this clearly is the real Buddha. I've said this many times. In Hindi, or in Sanskrit language, one vowel, if you even change a little bit, gives a completely different meaning. One alphabet you change and you get a whole different meaning. Right? Like niyama agraha. Agraha means rejection of. Niyama agraha means tightly holding. So between a and a, there's a completely opposite meaning. So like that, buddha means one who knows everything. Buddhu means one who doesn't know anything. In Hindi, buddhu means dullard. Buddha, bhava samanvita. Without that proper knowledge, this Buddha is different from jnana. Where Krishna says, buddhi yogam dadami aham, buddhi is knowledge where intelligence is activated. Otherwise, jnana remains theoretical. So Buddha includes where our intelligence has fully been awakened. And with that intelligence and knowledge, I serve Krishna with my heart. Bhava samanvita. So it's important to understand that Krishna is the source of everything, as Kamala Nabhaya. Then there is not more commentary on the other pieces, so please humor me a little bit if you don't mind. Kamala Maline, the garland of Krishna. Krishna wears lotus garland. The lotus garland is because of its fragrance that it attracts bees. And it is described in other verses that when Krishna appears with his beautiful garland, there are bees humming around the garland, buzzing. So generally, it's also described that the garland around Krishna is the choice prayers and verses that the devotees offer to him. And the buzzing is all the recitation, the chanting of the Vedic mantras, and the busy devotees who want that nectar from the great verses that have been offered to Krishna. For example, there is this book called Mukunda Mala Stotra. Mala Stotra. Stotra means a collection of prayers. And Mala means those prayers are offered as a garland to Krishna, to Lord Mukunda. Another reference is Padyavali. We've been reading Padyavali. Padya means verse or poetry. And Avali is garland. They're all strung together. In English we call it anthology. In Vedic literature is garland. So all these choice prayers and verses glorifying Krishna, Srimati Radharani, glorifying Bhakti, glorifying the Vaishnavas, these are all garlands that are offered to Krishna. So when we offer prayers, the great Vaishnavas have offered prayers and choice verses as a service to Krishna, they're all decorations like his garland. Then Kamalapadaya, his feet are like lotus feet, as we say. Now, for most persons, feet are really smelly and dirty. And it's also the lowest part of the body. It's not considered anything significant. But at Krishna's lotus feet reside all of the devotees. At Krishna's lotus feet are the nails that decorate his lotus feet are all the prayers in the Upanishads. Rupa Goswami describes like that. And his lotus feet is the residence, the complete satisfaction of the ailing heart. Ainanda tanuja kim karam patitam mam vishame bhavam budau Kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrusham vichantaya. My dear Krishna, I have been wandering within this universe aimlessly for lifetime after lifetime, and I find no solace. I am therefore begging you to kindly pick me up and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. Sthita dhuli sadrusham vichintaya. Can you please give me residence at your lotus feet in the form of a speck of dust? Because when that position is attained, the heart has no more hankering, and the heart has no more lamenting. The lotus feet, Padasevanam, are compared to, or means that there is objective, there is a goal for life. The goal for life is to serve Krishna. And that service is so pleasing and satisfying, like experiencing a lotus. When we touch and feel and smell a lotus, it has a very different experience. I can't say about the modern lotuses because they don't have proper fragrance. But the lotuses in general are very, very fragrant, very beautiful. So it is so pleasing. Service to Krishna is so pleasing that it removes the desire for serving anyone else or anything else. That's the idea. And it is also our objective to be completely situated in service for the rest of, from here on, forever, to be situated at Krishna's lotus feet. And then Namaste Kamalekshana. Ikshana are the eyes. Kamala Ikshana, the eyes are like the petals of lotuses. So they're very beautiful to look at. In fact, it is said in many places that when the heart is afflicted with lusty desires, one is recommended to meditate on the beautiful eyes and eyebrows of Krishna. It removes lusty desires from the heart because they are so captivating that there is nothing else that can be more captivating than that. Reminds me of Ramanujacharya's pastime with Dhanurdas. I've narrated this many times. I like the pastime, so I'll say it again. There was a young man who was holding a white umbrella over the head of a young woman, and he was absorbed in her eyes. Young men and young women can become absorbed like that. And so he was so absorbed in her eyes, there was a procession that was taking place. Sri Ranganath was being taken on a procession along the banks of the river Kaveri. Thousands of devotees had come, and they were loudly singing and chanting the names of Lord Ranganath in different verses and poetry and song, and these two were completely oblivious. This is one of the things of such absorption and lust, that it can deafen the heart. So the whole procession was walking like this, and these two were walking like this, right through the procession. They didn't notice the people bumping into them. His eyes were fixed upon her eyes. So Ramanujacharya saw this and said, "Who's this unfortunate fellow? The Supreme Lord is coming here, the devotees are here, they're all singing, and he has not even noticed. She has not noticed either, and he's holding a white umbrella." White umbrella is usually reserved for Vishnu. That's why in America they make black umbrellas. It's perfectly opposite. That's pretty good. So he said, "Call him here." So somebody went and shook this fellow up and said, Sri Ramanujacharya is calling you. So he came. And Ramanujacharya said, what is it about this woman that you're so enamored by? You're so enchanted. He said, her eyes. They are the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. And their beauty is so captivating that nothing else has meaning for me in this world. So Ramanujacharya thought, what an unfortunate fellow. And said, what if I show you something more charming than these two eyes? What if I show you eyes that are more charming than these? He said, there are no such eyes. And if there exist such eyes, I will completely dedicate my life to those eyes. So Ramanujacharya put on a blindfold to this fellow and took him to the Ranganath temple. It was the time for Arati. So they have this big lamp with ghee wicks and they wave it around the face of the Lord and the feet of the Lord. And exactly when the pujari came near the face of the Lord, Ramanujacharya asked that the blindfold be removed. And when the lamp showed the beautiful face of Ranganath and his two beautiful eyes, Dhanurdas had to agree, yes, you're right. These eyes are more captivating than anything else. And all his lust that was in the heart completely vanished in that one moment. This is the attraction of the lotus petal eyes of the Supreme Lord. That when the heart is filled with lusty desires, not when, it always is. It's just when we notice it or when we are suffering from it. Looking at the beautiful eyes of Krishna, the eyebrows, removes those lusty desires. So when the Lord is glorified like this, it has effect. It has effect on the consciousness. It is not just some poetry that is compared to a lotus. It has transcendental effect in the heart. And they are offering their obeisances. Namaha, 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 Namaha. There's a similar verse that Queen Kunti offers, into a similar prayer that she offers, that our Soul Connection members have sung it and so many times, except one day I hope they will sing it with a smiling face. But she uses the word Pankaja instead of Kamala. Namo Pankaja Nabhaya. Namo Pankaja Maline. Namo Pankaja Netraya. Namaste Pankajangraye. Same. Describing Krishna, Krishna's body, different parts of his body, as compared to lotuses. Okay. Any comments, suggestions? Add something meaningful, Ashraya Prabhu. Tranakarta Prabhu, you have something to add? Would you like to add something?
Thank you for filling in. It was very, very nice descriptions of the Lord you're giving, Prabhu, and thank you very much. To think of Krishna always as our main objective in Krishna consciousness, and that is done through the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by serving the Vaishnavas, because we cannot jump over the devotees to the Lord. And I just want to thank all of you for all your kindness while I'm here. And tomorrow I'll be leaving with Bhima Prabhu for India. And I seek all of your blessings, your prayers. So Bhima will be here today, so we'll be blessed with his association.
Yes.
And thank you all again, and thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ashraya Prabhu.
Not as sweet as what he said. In light of the whole class and what Prabhu was saying, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. I'm not, it's not a statement against serving devotees, so please start with that understanding. As you were describing from the beginning, I started to get a picture of when you were talking about different stages of devotional service, or kind of Kanishtarikari and Madhyamadikari, not recognizing how to serve the devotees. In one sense, that's natural, because one has to develop realization of how to serve the different, persons. So my question that arose was, until there is a mature understanding of how to serve, those who are innocent, those who are envious, those who are devotees, it seems like, and I'm thinking of examples of devotees also, that the service focusing very much, it's always guided by the devotees and the spiritual master and the scriptures, but a service that is focused on, let's say, deity worship, or Harinam, or these kinds of things, help one to come to a stage where they can actually understand how to properly serve devotees. And if it happens the other way around, where one is just seeing the devotees and not seeing service of a prescribed manner, then it seems like those people don't get the same level of realization, because maybe they're not following like a prescribed process of devotional service. Rather, they're trying to serve devotees, but they don't have a clear conception of the devotees in relation to spiritual master, devotees in relation to Krishna, etc. So that's kind of, I'm not putting it in a very succinct question, but do you have that recognition also, or where does that fall into this discussion?
In Vrindavan, there were persons who used to chant Jai Gurudev, and Prabhupada stopped it and said it's impersonal. There are many persons who just loudly say Jai Gurudev, but they have no concept of Guru. In fact, for such persons, God doesn't exist. Guru is God. And he cautioned against that. He warned against that. So singing Jai Gurudev has meaning when there is Krishna in that picture. Another example is somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, when I am chanting Hare Krishna, should I be thinking about spiritual master or should I be thinking about Krishna? And Prabhupada said, how can you think of one without the other? So serving the Vaishnavas actually is higher, but we're serving Vaishnavas because they are Vaishnavas. That means Vishnu is in the picture. There are many persons who serve humanity. They serve animals, they serve the birds, they serve the insects. In fact, they say that it's even better to do that than to serve God. And that's garbage. Because it's all in the absence of Vishnu. So service rendered to a Vaishnava, we serve a devotee because he's a devotee of Krishna. It's not another human being. It's not another entity. It's because it's devotee of Vishnu. Then that has higher effect than serving Vishnu directly. So the concept must be clear. I'm serving this person because this person is a devotee of Krishna. And if they are pleased, then Krishna is pleased. If they are not pleased, I cannot please Krishna. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada, yasya aprasadat nagati kuto. I have absolutely nowhere to go if the devotee is not pleased. So serving the Vaishnavas can be completely satisfying, even if one doesn't have access to the deity per se. But it should be clear that because it's a devotee of Vishnu or devotee of Krishna. So there are two, again the same thing, I'll say it differently. There's a person serving a Vaishnava, there's a person serving humanity. Both don't get the same outcome. One becomes transcendently situated, the other becomes situated in goodness, passion, or ignorance, depending upon other pieces of it. Even if one doesn't know Vishnu, one just serves a Vaishnava, one still gets access to Vishnu. One may not know Vishnu but serve any person without understanding their connection with Vishnu, they will not be access to Vishnu. So serving a devotee is very special. So, you said it in your mind.
Only because you said it. I had a small insight sometime a bit ago. I wanted to share with you.
About a month ago?
It was, they come
once a month.
Very infrequently. It was in regard to Sambandha Gyan, which you were mentioning today, and the paramount importance of having proper conception of our relationship with Krishna and the devotees, and how that affects our position, dictates our position. Anyway, I was considering these qualities of Krishna as being all-merciful and the supreme controller and our best friend. I was thinking about the implications of that in terms of our external environment that we find ourselves in. So it seems that actually whatever the particular circumstances, including inanimate and animate, of Krishna's energy, other persons, other devotees, etc., is like the perfect situation that we should be in order to make the maximum amount of spiritual progress that is possible for us at this time. Because Krishna, he wants us back to Godhead more than we want to be back there. And he is in control of everything. So actually, whatever is going on in our surroundings is Krishna's arrangement that is perfect for our purification. So then I was thinking about that, and my tendency is to, be critiquing more the surroundings, finding, nitpicking, thinking things that could maybe be better, that would maybe be better for my service or my execution of Krishna consciousness. But actually, Krishna's arranged everything perfectly for me to make proper advancement. I was just thinking that and hoping maybe you could discuss that point, if it's accurate or not.
It's a very nice, inspiring insight. Sambandha Gyan includes not just my relationship with Krishna, but Sambandha Gyan actually is that Krishna is the source of everything, and my ability to see how everything is connected to Krishna. What are the interrelations between me and other energies, material energy? How am I connected to the material energy? It's through Krishna. How is the material energy connected to Krishna? How Krishna is the director of all of these energies? This all encompasses Sambandha Gyan. In principle, we don't make advancement we don't make advancement, period. We don't make advancement because we have acted in a particular way. Advancement is Krishna drawing us towards Him. It's different from I did the right things and therefore I'm advancing. It doesn't work like that. Our purpose, our whole engagement of Krishna consciousness is to follow the principles of bhakti. It is Bhakti Devi who takes us to Krishna, or it's Krishna who brings us to Him. That is what we call advancement. And that track has certain features. That the anarthas are removed, there is nishtha, there is ruchi, etc. It's as we're being taken along the path of bhakti. But that's advancement. That is when Krishna is bringing us. Or said differently, Krishna is progressively revealing Himself to us. We call that advancement. But advancement is not because I executed all the limbs of bhakti very nicely. That is the way in which Krishna is pleased to reveal Himself. So we are always dependent on Krishna to reveal Himself. There are many times that we may execute everything perfectly, and Krishna can choose to not reveal Himself. Then our realization is that Krishna is fully independent. That's what He's teaching us. Even the gopis of Vrindavan, their execution of bhakti is super excellent. Still, Krishna doesn't reveal Himself necessarily all the time. It's up to Him, completely up to Him. Like we've heard the phrase that He is the transcendental autocrat. He can do whatever He likes. And that's perfectly all right for the residents of Vrindavan. That's the 8th verse of Shikshashtaka. Whatever you like. You're the transcendental autocrat. Still for me, you're my life. So that's advancement. Krishna has to reveal Himself. Krishna has to pull us. But yes, the arrangement around us is perfect for that instance, for us to be able to recognize what's in our heart. Sometimes some things may need to also be fixed. Krishna may give us a little insight. Here's something that needs fixed. For example, let's say the mic is not working right in the beginning of class. One might say, it's a perfect arrangement. Krishna today did not want the mic to work. So I don't have to do anything about it. It's already perfect. No. Krishna is telling us, do something. Do some service. Fix the mic. For each person, that situation is a different service. For the speaker, it may be, today Krishna does not want whatever I'm speaking for others to listen. Or I have to really speak loudly with my realizations. I can't murmur something and get away with that. It may be different things for different people. But there is something that needs to be. It's perfect in that sense. But it still needs some fixing in another sense. So, the only caution is to not become passive because everything is perfect. So the Buddha Bhava Samanvita is to understand what the situation needs in this context, in this situation, and do the needful. And for that we need to be Buddha. Our intelligence is working, activated. Spiritual intelligence is activated. You'd like to add something to it, Ashray Prabhu?
Try to make it very succinct. Like this question, like how to, do Yukta Vairagya, basically. It's like how to do Yukta Vairagya, basically. He didn't ask that question, but from that discussion, it's like how to do Yukta Vairagya. And so somehow we have to be engaged while we don't know how to properly do Yukta Vairagya. So we still have to be somehow positively engaged so that we're becoming purified. So that part goes back to my original question, is that we have to have a very clear understanding of what proper devotional service is, to whatever level we can perform it, so that we actually make advancement, as opposed to becoming entangled, thinking that we're doing devotional service. I mean, that's maybe an obvious statement, but I mean, we have to have maybe we can't see how to do everything in every circumstance, but we have some very fundamental things that we've learned about how to be a devotee in circumstances of life. And if that's not very solid, then become bewildered and act in non-helpful ways, or however to put it.
Said simply, one becomes a perfect yukta vairagi. One becomes a perfect yukta vairagi when one is perfect in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. That's what it's supposed to do. So for Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, you need a guru. Right? That's Rupa Goswami's whole premise in the Nectar of Devotion. That love for God comes from ecstasy, and ecstasy comes when it is practiced. And it is practiced under the guidance of a guru. And for doing it under the guidance of a guru, one must approach the lotus feet of a guru and submit oneself and take initiation, and then this begins. But that's the premise of the Nectar of Devotion. So yes, that's right. One should know. One should know what is proper devotional service. It's not that it's whimsical, it's sentimental, it is properly guided. It has certain rules, it has certain regulations, it has certain process to follow. Then one can become yukta vairagi. Mostly we are yukta many times, right? We're just completely engaged by the material energy. Or we are either yukta in that sense, or we are complete bhokta in that sense. We're enjoying material energy like anything. Or even the other danger is that we're only vairagis, rejected everything. I heard quickly one story about how Guru can take varieties of persons and use them in Krishna's service. One time, many people were walking on the street and they found a stick. And they said, well, what's the use of a stick? But a saintly person saw the stick, picked it up. Then they were walking along and they found a dry pumpkin, just the shell. Inside everything was dry. I said, he picked that up too. Then they went further and they found some string. They didn't know what to do with the string, they just left it aside. The saintly person picked up the string and he attached the stick into the pumpkin and the string to the pumpkin and the stick, and made a nice one-string instrument by which he could play it and sing Krishna's glories. So yukta vairagya is utility, is the principle, is different from atyahara. Most people, atyahara is also a blind rejection of things, thinking, or collecting unnecessarily. We don't know what to do with it. But the saintly person knows exactly how to connect everything in the service of Krishna. So he made a beautiful one-stringed instrument. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.